How's it going, YouTube? Broke Boy Tactical here, and I hope you're having a great day. This is the second video I'm making today. Thank you to a commenter, Mitch Kramer. He just commented on the video that I had made about things people do not tell you when you're about carrying firearms. If you want to check out that video, I would love it. I would love the support. If you like my content, hit like and subscribe. And again, thank you, Mitch Kramer, because there's no way I could have answered this in a comment. There's no way I could have answered this in a comment, so I had to make a video about this. So this is for you. How long should it take to get used to carrying with a round in the chamber, and how would I recommend he get used to doing it? Well, first of all, just to get this out of the way, how long it's going to take is going to be a case-by-case basis. Everybody has different personalities. Everybody has different comfort levels. Everybody progresses at a different rate. Some people train more, some people train less, and have, and that's just the way that it is. And then there are some rare cases where the people who train more just don't progress as much. And that's okay. But if you are, as long as you're interested in progressing and you want to overcome this hurdle, I think that's great. I think that's a great first step. And I'm going to tell you how I learned how to do it. Okay. Go out and buy some snap caps. Before I go into what snap caps are, the reason why is because I think a lot of the fear with carrying with a round in the chamber, I demonstrated this in the video that I was just mentioning, things people don't tell you about carrying firearms. Your firearm really isn't a weapon until your ammunition is in the chamber. Even if you have a loaded magazine, until you rack the slide and put the round in the chamber, you're just carrying around a big piece of plastic and metal, basically a glorified stapler. It does nothing without ammunition. So carrying a loaded weapon can be very daunting, and a lot of newbies carry it without a round in the chamber. And I still will say that's better than not carrying with a gun at all. I do. But I'm very proud of you that you want to overcome this, because I hate using this term because I think it's kind of snobbery, but we say, how much is your life worth? But when it comes to the reality of how quickly you're going to need your firearm, if you legally need it, you need it loaded. You really do. So I'm proud of you for wanting to overcome this. It's going to be a case-by-case basis, but from what I've noticed in my experience with my friends, if you truly practice these things, this is how I learned, this is how my instructor taught me how to get over this. It took me about, I want to say close to 2 months before I was comfortable. It took me about 2 weeks before I started carrying with a round in the chamber, but I still wasn't comfortable yet, but we're going to get to that. But it took me about 2 months to get comfortable. Now here's how I did it, okay? I went out and I bought some snap caps. There's a good brand called A-Zoom. They're all right, and they're going to be perfectly fine for dry fire practice and for what we're going to be doing here. What I want you to do is load the snap cap, the fake bullet, and put your firearm in your holster. And I want you to make sure that your holster here is going to be just as important, because I think the fear is that your gun's going to go off by itself. The trigger might get pulled by accident. And those are legitimate fears. And a good holster is like 99% of the equation when it comes to that, okay? The rest of it is right here. A good holster is going to prevent negligent discharges. If it's covering the trigger guard, if it's a good holster, you should be fine. But this is how you're going to overcome this hurdle. This is how you're going to gain the trust of your holster in your firearm. And I think that's a legitimate statement. You need to learn to trust it. I want you to load it, and I want you to carry it around your house, okay? And do not unload it. When you're done carrying it for the day and you realize that it has not gone off by itself, I want you to put it on your nightstand or somewhere safe. Be responsible if you have children, or if you live by yourself, put it wherever you want. See if it goes off by itself. See if anything pulls the trigger without your deliberate action. And when you realize that most firearms, carry firearms, pistols, like carry pistols, and especially modern ones, are not only designed to be carried with one in the chamber, they have preventative internal safety measures to make sure they're drop safe. There are trigger safeties. There are a lot of things to prevent your firearm from going off without you putting your finger on the booger hook and pulling the trigger, okay? And when you learn that your gun is not a ticking time bomb, this is really going to help you overcome this fear. Now, the second step is, you should already be doing this. I want you to disassemble your firearm, get a good look at everything, and I want you to go watch a good YouTube video on the internals of the firearm that you bought. Learn the anatomy of your firearm. Learn how it works. And when you learn how it works, and trust me, there are some great videos out there with like 3D displays of the internals working when you pull the when you learn the anatomy of your firearm and you learn how it works, you learn its form and function, you're going to be much more comfortable, okay? And you're also going to be in a much better position to spot out errors, future problems that maybe aren't presenting themselves now but might present themselves in the future, like potentially weak springs, things like that. Anyway, I digress. But when you get familiar with your firearm and you learn it's not a ticking time bomb, you should be ready to start carrying your firearm loaded with one in the chamber, again, around your house. If the reason why I say around your house is because most people are already scared to carry with one in the chamber. Leaving the house with said firearm in the beginning with one in the chamber is a more daunting task, because in the beginning, a lot of people feel like everybody can see their firearm. They feel like all eyes are on them, and it's just not the case. And I think you're ready at this point to start carrying with one in the chamber, and this is the last hurdle before you step out of your house with your firearm, and you should be comfortable with it, okay? Now, again, the time, this is just going to depend on your trust level. You'll know when you go, all right, you know what? This thing's not a ticking time bomb. It's going to require my deliberate action, me pulling the trigger. I can trust this thing. I think I've got a really good holster system here. Hasn't gone off on me yet in the past week. I'm ready to carry with one in the chamber. Repeat this process that we did with the snap cap, but with live ammunition. Carry it around your house. Leave it loaded at night. See if it goes off by itself. And when you learn that it won't, when you learn that it was not going to go off in your holster when you're moving around, I think you're ready. You're still going to be scared. You're still going to feel like all eyes are on you. But this hurdle has to be overcome. And I do not recommend that you go out and about with a firearm loaded with snap caps. If you want to continue carrying without one in the chamber while you're out and about, that's fine for the time being. But like I said, I'm really proud of you for wanting to get past this hurdle, because it's gonna be crucial for your life. You're gonna need that time. You do not have the time to rack around into the chamber, and if you do, lucky you. But it's a legitimate hurdle. But at this point, like, once you get over the fear that nobody is paying attention to you, they're in their phones, they're in their own world, they're not paying attention to you, first of all. And if you have a proper holster and the proper attire, your firearm should be completely concealed anyway, so you shouldn't have that to worry about. And like I said, once you learn it's not a ticking time bomb, you're going to be in a really good position. You're going to trust your firearm. The only other hurdle you're going to have to get over is the comfort issue, and that's just going to come with commitment. Just continue to carry whatever firearm you have, like I demonstrated in that video before. No matter if it's a pocket pistol or if it's a Glock 34, it's going to be uncomfortable on some level at some point during the day when you're doing something. Commit and continue to carry. You will get used to it. It will always be kind of uncomfortable, but you will get used to it. All right. This is the best answer I got for you. This is how I learned to get over it. It is a process. Like I said, it took me about 2 weeks to get out the door with one in the chamber. That was still a little uncomfortable, but I have never had a negligent discharge in my life, and I plan to keep it that way. All right. And I do not like to call them accidental discharges. If anybody's watching, there's no such thing as an accidental discharge. And if they are, they're very rare. They're called negligent discharges. Okay. So this was a very thoughtful question. I think you're a very thoughtful gun owner, Mitch Kramer. I really do. I think this was a great question, and I think this was a great video topic, and I think people can learn from this. So thank you very much. This was for you. See you guys next time.